What's up, everybody? It's Kelcey from the High Low Sports Podcast, coming to you for a new segment from Belly Up. We're going to be doing something called Belly Up bonus rounds going forward. It's going to be personalities from all across the Belly Up Sports Network, and we're going to have a little fun, a little more conversation than we normally get on our normal shows, a lot more cross collabs. Guys you may not ever see in a show together, but we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have some fun conversations, some interesting takes. I imagine we're going to get some hot takes out of this one. But all in all, it's going to be a lot of fun. And this is the first edition of it. So this is round one of Belly Up bonus rounds. And joining me today, I got a crew, 3 guys that I absolutely love talking to, love having them on. Let's bring these guys in right now. We have Vince Stover from the Sports Stove, Ryan McCarthy from No Credentials Required, Hector from Insert Name FC. Vince, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing awesome, man. We're in full-fledged baseball season. Football draft just got done. We're in the playoffs in the NBA and the NHL. And my boy, Sam Alvey, just got another belt in a whole new world of his MMA career. So it's a good day.
Yeah, it's always good. Ryan, how you doing, man? It's been a minute since we saw each other.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, like Vince said, baseball's in full effect. NHL playoffs, my favorite time of the year. Stanley Cup playoffs is going on, and I'm paying close attention to my Albany Firebirds from Arena Football 1. I don't think they're going to drop 100 like they did last week, but they're rolling right now, 6-0, and hoping to be there on Sunday for the for Star Wars night.
On May 4th. That'll be fun. May the 4th be with them to score another 100 is what I'm hearing. No, and then Hector, man, you are joining us as well on the brink of a potential Champions League victory, but not from the team you maybe expect. So how are you feeling about Arsenal chances right now, man?
Not really good. PSG is at a different level right now, but I'm kind of still salty from El Clasico. Look, do I like Arsenal? Yes, but I'm a Madrista through and through, and that's the club. And right now, I'm still pissed off about how they performed in Copa del Rey. So, and there's no way they're gonna win La Liga. So, so everybody's good. I'm awful. I'm dreadful. I'm pissed. So,
fair
but
enough.
hey, same thing with them. Dude. I've been watching NBA playoffs. Probably the best iteration of the NBA playoffs I've seen in a while. LeBron got eliminated. I'm sure everybody's happy for that. And and yeah, hockey, bro. I don't know anything that's going on, but I am there. Yeah. I am there for every minute of it. And then baseball season's also going on, which obviously not gonna say the name of the team that I support because I know they're not very well liked right now.
I need
probably
not for a while.
Maybe for after 100 years, maybe I can finally talk about them.
No, yeah. You know what's funny, Hector, is you as a Houstonian yourself, Houstonian. We're gonna go with
Houstonian.
All right, good. I was right the first time. You know what? You get to celebrate a few teams right now. You have the Rockets obviously doing what they're doing. Whether they get out of this first round with the Warriors, we'll see. But then obviously your Dynamo is just near and dear to your heart. Maybe not the greatest moment for that one to celebrate. But your Astros, obviously, as long as there's no trash cans involved, it's not too bad.
I think they got a ring after that, so
yeah. All right, fair enough. All right, guys, we'll get right into it. Round one, as I talked about, we're gonna go topic here for this one. We could go games. We might go games in the future. We will go games in the future. But for this first one, we're gonna go with a topic that I think we all love to talk about and love to get other people's hot takes on. We're gonna go with your favorite player that no one else likes. So we're talking the guys that just drives fan bases, fans crazy that you adore. Could be a niche name. It could be a big name. I know there's some out there. Maybe you love Lance Stevenson. Maybe you love Mo Williams. Maybe you love Delonte West. I'm not going to judge you for it, but somebody else will. So we're going to start off with McCarthy. Ryan, go ahead. Give us your favorite player that no one else likes.
All right. I'm going to dive into a sport that frankly, we need more coverage here on the Belly Up Sports Network. I'm going to go into hockey. And even though he doesn't play for my team, he's generally regarded as one of the biggest pests in the National Hockey League. And I'm going to go with Matthew Tkachuk.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of another hockey player, but
you were thinking of Brad Marchand, weren't you? Who plays in the same team.
I don't know who that is. I was thinking of Sidney Crosby.
I was.
Oh, no. I'm indifferent towards Sidney Crosby, but
look, okay. I just know a lot of people don't like Sidney Crosby. That's the one thing I know about hockey.
I'm different. Look, guy's got 3 cups. You can't argue with the success he has. But Matthew Tkachuk, let's talk about him for a minute. he's been in the league for quite a while. He was brought in. He was originally in Calgary, traded to Florida, and helped bring a Stanley Cup to Florida. Almost blew a 3-0 lead last year in the Stanley Cup final at Edmonton. But the dude played with a broken freaking sternum in the Stanley Cup in the playoffs last year. That's insane. That's very admirable in terms of hockey toughness, in terms of toughness period as an athlete. And I wouldn't say affection, but my appreciation of him grew more during the Four Nations face-off against Canada. 9 seconds into the game, actually right off the face-off, he and his brother just decided, and they said, you know what, we're gonna drop the gloves. We're gonna drop the gloves. We're gonna fight somebody, and they did, and it made the game. It turned the game on its head right away. Even though Canada took the lead, USA won that game. Now I know that the result wasn't what I wanted as a USA fan because I wanted them to win in the final, but seeing Matthew Tkachuk doing what he did and just saying, "This is my country. I'm gonna play for my country," and he had the red, white, and blue. Goes out there and fights and made a big difference in USA's success in that Four Nations face-off. And he didn't play much during the rest of the season. But I understand he's back in the playoffs. He's back healthy, and the Florida Panthers just did a gentleman's sweep of the Tampa Bay Lightning, 4-1. They're meeting Toronto in the next round, who I'm pretty much sure everyone except for Toronto, the city of Toronto, hates in the National Hockey League. So I'm rooting for. Since my Devils are eliminated, I'm going to root for those guys, especially Matthew Tkachuk. He's one of those pests that you hate to love, but if he was on your team, you would absolutely love him.
Yeah. One half of the Bash Brothers. I actually love that you called out the Four Nations Cup because I think that was the moment that any USA fan was like, "Oh yeah, I love those guys." And then they go back to their NHL team. And you're like, "Oh no, I hate that guy again." Like, yeah, that's a hot start to this one. I honestly thought you were going Brad Marchand, but I'm glad you stuck with one I can actually appreciate. I did see Marchand get a lame penalty call the other night. Get a guy thrown in the box for touching him, LeBron-esque, if you will. But yeah, it was. I love the Matthew Tkachuk one. Now, Vince, do you have something that is equally as hot of a start?
I don't know that I do. I was trying to think through this as Ryan's talking. I'm going, man, that no one likes. I don't know. But as a baseball fan, there are a lot of baseball purists. And so I'm going to go with a group of guys, and that's the steroid era Hall of Famers that are not going to make it into the Hall of Fame because of the fuddy-duddies, but honestly deserve to be there. I think of Barry Bonds at the top of that list. You sit there, to me, he's a guy I always cheered for. And even after his head grew 4 sizes and he was clearly doing something, I still cheered for Barry Bonds. I'm not a Giants fan, not a Pirates fan, but Barry Bonds was somebody I always really, really liked. And I think there's a lot of those guys, obviously not everyone in that era, but there's a lot of those guys. I think Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa saved baseball. And so for me, I'll do it as a group of guys, the steroid era Hall of Famers that will not make it to the Hall of Fame, but should. And Barry Bonds, to me, is at the top of that list.
Easily best baseball hitter, period, I think, outside of Tony Gwynn. I think pure eye for the ball. As a Giants fan, I never liked him, actually, but I loved his brain for the game, and that's what I enjoyed. Nobody can beat Jeff Kent, which is the most hated player of all time of that era, at least in my opinion. McCarthy, as a baseball guy, how do you feel about that one? And do you think, which one's worse, the steroid era or Matthew Tkachuk?
I think as baseball fans, especially if you're baseball purists, and I am not a fan of the baseball purists because I always ask them, "Hey, during that era, who hit all those home runs? Was it the player? Was it the guy at bat, or was it the steroids?" Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they don't have an answer to it or just choose to ignore the question. But these guys should be. Yes, I mean, is it a tainted era? Possibly, yeah. I would argue yes, but at the same time, you can't ignore their achievements. So yeah, so I would say the baseball guys for sure.
Hector, now as a person who has a rooting interest in teams that are much hated by others, I got to get your opinion on this one. You cheat and you win and you do well at the game. Should you get into a Hall of Fame for your sport, or should you maybe have your awards taken away from you? Maybe Astros-esque.
Hey, look, man, my favorite wrestler of all time is Eddie Guerrero, and he lived on lie, cheat, and steal, right? So, but I mean, you gotta think
Yeah, he
about
did.
that steroid era. That was probably all eyes on baseball. I mean, that summer of Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa duking it out to get the home run title. That was, everyone was trying to keep up. Is it going to be Mark McGwire? Is it going to be Sammy Sosa? Also, best part was that they were both in the same division.
Yeah.
But and that was a good period of baseball. Did anybody know what was going on? I mean, maybe had some subtle ideas that possibly could happen. And if it wasn't for a book made by some guy that I think definitely not liked, I don't know if anyone's going to like that guy, but if it wasn't for that, that's when it led to this giant domino effect where we find out more players that I think very much so deserve to be in the Hall of Fame for what they have accomplished. Not just guys like Barry Bonds but more guys that were tarnished by that whole era. As I've said, I'm a Nationals fan. And everybody kind of it feels very conflicted off of a certain person that I will call a gigante, even though I'm taller than him. But I think Jose Altuve is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think his resume speaks for itself, but I know that there's going to be some purist writer that's going to say, yeah, well, he cheated, even though like it's been proven that he did not really partake in it. Made up some story about some fake Twitter account said that there was a wire on Jose Altuve and everyone just went with it. So, that's my piece. I know people are going to hate for me in the comments about this, but anyways, but I think that, you can't talk about baseball without the steroid era.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Here's my question: who isn't cheating in baseball? Honestly, this sport has been dirty since the beginning. The sport's been dirty since the beginning. Come on.
Yes, the White Sox. That is the answer that everybody was looking for.
And the Rockies this year.
Probably the Rockies.
Oh, yeah.
They're definitely not cheating in that a few years ago, binoculars were considered technology.
Right.
True. Yeah. No, so you guys heard it here. So out of Hector's mouth, the Astros don't need their title rescinded, and steroid era does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm actually on board with everything that you guys said. I agree with all of you. Now, Hector, I know you have a world of sports, literally a world of sports to pull from and athletes to pull from in your sports fandom. What's the guy you love the most that everybody else hates in the world?
Man, that's a loaded question, but I kind of wanted to stick with American sports just so for the sake of Vince and Ryan. And then once again, I'll go back to baseball, and it's because this player, when the Astros brought him in a trade, along with a player that ratted on us, he was supposed to be the missing piece for the Astros in that season, and unfortunately, he just wasn't able to, I guess, live up to the hype that was brought in for him back in 2015, and that was Carlos Gomez. I have so much fun watching, and I know Vince is very familiar with him, being that he was a Milwaukee Brewer before he moved over to the Astros. But he was just the embodiment of someone that, the whole let the kids play, which is I love that MLB initially brought in that saying and did not at all live up to that saying, but that's the reality. He was the guy. He was Tatis before Tatis. He was doing the ridiculous bat flips. He was breaking all the unwritten rules of baseball in some aspect. And I felt that he was the right guy for the Astros that could push them over. And obviously, it just didn't pan out. Astros moved on from him because of his contract. And, every time he came up at bat, regardless of what team he played for, he got the boos. But I think in general, he was a fun player. I like watching him. And you know what? I'll throw in Yasiel Puig as well. That was another guy that I had so much fun watching him play. That guy was a mixed bag of just what's the quote from Anchorman? I'm in a glass box of emotions. That's what that man was, and I loved it. He played it with his heart on his sleeve, and I think that's what you want to see these guys doing, right? Regardless of what sport they play, is that they're having fun. At the end of the day, they're getting paid to play a game, and how bad do we want to be able to do that?
I'd love to get paid to do a podcast. Oh, wait, here we are. All right. Now, Vince, as a brewer, I know Hector did mention this. You have a love-hate relationship, I imagine, with Cargo. Like, how do you feel about Carlos Gomez?
No, for me, it's a love relationship. I think if he played on your team, you're typically more likely to like him than if he didn't play on your team, because you saw that joy and you saw the energy that he brings to a stadium. And sometimes baseball lacks that energy. And so Carlos Gomez bringing that to the field, and that was an exciting time when he was on the Brewers as well. It was a good time for Milwaukee fans. So for me, it's a love relationship with them, but I understand at the same time where some of the hate comes from.
Fair enough. Ryan, any thoughts on Cargo?
No thoughts on Cargo, but I'm surprised that Hector didn't say anybody from Manchester United, Manchester City, Bayern Munich, or the LA Galaxy.
Oh, I love Bex, but I mean, I guess he didn't play at Bayern Munich. Okay, I'll throw one soccer
No, he
player.
he played at Real.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously I know that part. But
yeah, as the Real fan.
You know what? I will say it, at least it's Sergio Busquets. I love Sergio Busquets. I hate that he played for Barcelona, but he's one of those guys that you hate playing against him, but once he's on your team, you love every minute. And the worst part of it all, I never got to support him because he never played for a team that I liked. And so I guess technically Spain, but I'm not Spanish. So I hated that I could never actually enjoy what Sergio Busquets could bring. But he was a really good player. And I mean, even though he's kind of on his last legs here at Inter Miami, but yeah, Sergio Busquets is definitely that guy that I think of that I hated watching him on the field. I mean, the dude has like a size 17 shoe, I guess, but solid center defensive midfielder.
Yeah, sure. If you say so. As a guy who does not like Sergio Busquets, I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah, I fall in the category that Hector was aiming for there. By the way, kind of surprised nobody went with a Lance Stevenson, or I don't know, somebody by the name of John Rocker. Surprised neither of those guys got into anybody's conversation.
Maybe I couldn't do Rocker. There's a little too much. He did enough stupid stuff. I couldn't jump on.
I get it. I love to poke fun though. I'm not going to make anybody change their picks though.
Yeah, but there is a pitcher that's kind of compared to Rocker sometimes. It's currently looking for an MLB contract that I think is worthy to be in Major League Baseball.
I know who you're talking about.
We're playing a trivia game. Anybody know the answer to this question?
I'm going to say Joe Kelly.
Joe Kelly? No.
Oh, that's actually a good one too.
Oh, Trevor Bauer.
Trevor Bauer.
I was going to say, does it rhyme
Trevor
with
Bauer? Is what I was talking about.
Well, I would say something about Joe Kelly, but obviously we can't say certain words.
Honestly, I'm have to let you go, and I'll just have my beat button ready. But no, guys, I appreciate this one. This is round one of what is to come for bonus rounds. Let us know what you guys think. Ryan coming with Matthew Tkachuk, Vince coming with the entire steroid era for baseball, and Hector dropping Carlos Gomez, and then a bonus one with Sergio Busquets. And then even a bigger bonus from everybody, Trevor Bauer. So let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Drop us some questions for future editions. We'll be back with you soon. Before we go, Vince, Ryan, Hector, let us know, everybody know where you can go. Vince, let's start with you.
All right, at Sports Stove on Twitter and Instagram. And then each week, me and my dad get together to talk football on the Sports Stove Football Show, available wherever you get your podcasts or on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel. And every Sunday night, the Belly Up Fantasy Live Baseball Show on all the Belly Up Sports socials and YouTube.
All right, Ryan.
You can find No Credentials Required. We do a live show on Tuesdays at 6:30 Eastern, Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern. We call it the Saturday Brunch when it's not football, when it's not NFL season. Your favorite preferred podcast platform, replays on the Belly Up YouTube channel, and you can find me personally on Twitter, Instagram, all the social channels at Who Is Ryan MCC.
There you go, Hector. Where can everybody find you at?
At Insert Name FC on Instagram, X, the Everything app, and also Facebook as well. YouTube. You can find us on the Belly Up Sports. New episodes drop every Thursday. Also on our personal YouTube channel at Insert Name FC, we do also drop little shorter videos. It's literally from the whole full episode, but in case you guys want like a shorter shorter video. So
And some of the takes may or may not be edited for these short clips.
I've never edited. I have not edited a single podcast episode, and I don't plan on ever doing that.
No, guys,
and I mumble a lot.
Yeah, hey, look, there may be a few viral videos out there that we've created on your show. But guys, I appreciate it as always. I will see you guys again for round 2 coming up very shortly. So as always, guys, check out the links in the bio below, and we will see you guys again soon.